Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carryandcut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I really do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, also leave a comment down below. It really does help out the channel, and I love interacting with everybody out there. And I do have a couple cool things coming up here directly on the channel, well, at least hopefully very soon. We do have the big 2,000 subscriber giveaway coming up, so if you guys would, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell your friends and family. We have a really special TRM knife to give away. It's the first American-made knife I've been able to give away on the channel, so I'm really excited about it, and hopefully you guys are too. It is our TRM Holy Nerd, and I know you guys will love it. Plus, we do have a Jimmy Crow custom, and everybody loves Jimmy Crow's work. So let's go ahead and get right into this thing. This is going to be my first time taking a look at this brand. It is called Tack Knives. That is the brand of these two knives right here. I just want to give a huge shout out to Steven for sending these knives over to us, the Landry man himself, him and little man Dom. They sent these knives over to us to take a look at. So these are definitely two really cool knives. I know this little one right here, this is actually Steven's wife's knife. So they're definitely wanting me to get these things back to him. So I kind of wanted to just kind of compile these two knives together. I know they're kind of obviously two way different knives in their own right, but still from the same brand and kind of share the same overall identity. Of course, they are going to be double action OTF knives, and that is something that is new to me and my channel. I have only messed with a Microtech one time, and it was a UTX 85, I think, Ultratech. And the original owner of it, he wasn't too excited about it. It kind of misfired, and the blade was kind of messed up. He sent it to Microtech like 4 times, and they just seemed like they could never get the dang thing to work right, no matter how much oil you put in it. It just seems like the spring was always messed up, and something just didn't want to quite work just right. But so far, I am thoroughly impressed with both of these knives. They have worked extremely well. I've carried each one for a couple days, and they just seem to work and just keep going and keep going and keep going. I've sat there and ran this action 100 times on each one, and no flaws. There's no misfires or nothing like that. So this one right here is the Chimera. So this is kind of a, it looks just like, you know, an Ultratech would for the most part. This thing seriously fires out. Really good, great action on that thing. This is rocking a 154 cm blade. So 154 cm. Super good stuff. Really nothing to scoff at whatsoever. These are Chinese OEM knives, but they want to bring a good thing to a good product to the table that uses, you know, pretty quality blade steel and still keeping that price very low. So this is running on an aluminum chassis right here. We do have a deep carry pocket clip with a glass breaker on the end. This is going to be, of course, right hand or left hand carry depending on which side you use. And with this firing switch being on the top there, it is very, of course, ergonomical one, but it is also ambidextrous. You can use this thing lefty or righty. Just flip that clip over, loosen your glass breaker, flip the clip, tighten it back down. Not a big deal. Bob's your uncle. So easy to do, really good to see. We have a really thin blade though. This is a really nice Tonto Warncliffe blade shape at the same time. It's like a reverse Tonto actually. Sorta. I don't really know why I want to call it that, but it just gives me 940 vibes, I guess you should say. But it is a Warncliffe. It's a straight blade Warncliffe, but it's super thin at the same time. I know, I don't know how much more width they actually could have got out of that blade, but still, I mean, I can pull that thing back with my index finger, so if that tells you anything, it's still a very good action, and it has a lot of pop to it at the same time. So this one is coming in at $170 for this, and you know, I feel like some people might think that is a little bit of sticker shock on a knife like this, especially coming from where it's, you know, from being made in China. But at the same time, you're still getting high quality materials. You're getting, you know, nice durable aluminum chassis on this. It does have a hard coating, they said, at least on their website. So far though, it's not showing any signs of scratching or anything like that. So going to be nice to see there. Of course, the 154 cm blade is going to be, you know, highly capable stuff. And let's go ahead and get some measurements on this blade here. It's looking like it's going to be just about a 3-inch-ish blade. So we are actually about 3 1/4. Just depends on where you're measuring, of course, because this the handle, the chassis does have that kind of downswept to it. But at the very top of the knife, I'm going to say, up here, you're looking at right around 3 1/4 of an inch, especially down here at the end. We have a really nice sharpening choil and plunge grind. You're going to get a lot of extended life out of this right here. We do have a very narrow blade though. So overall dimensions on this knife, let's go ahead and run that all the way to the edge. We're looking at pretty much, if you're going all the way out here to the glass breaker, you're right at 8 inches. If you're stepping into the actual butt of the knife right there, you're 7 7/8 of an inch. So still a fairly full-size knife at the same time. Really do like that. We do have very thin blade stock though. So 125 thousandths on the blade stock. Nice and thin. I don't know if this is going to be a slicing monster or not, though, just because of how short that overall blade is. It kind of reminds you of a wedge. I know not all, we're 20 thousandths behind the edge. So I know some of these OTFs can almost act like a wedge. Then that's only because that there's not that much real estate that they can actually work with, you know, width-wise. But still, this is going to be a very capable knife. Great cutter, utility knife. This is going to be a really good one. And there's also barely any, if not any, blade play whatsoever. There's no audible blade play. You can't hear it. There might just be a wiggle side to side, but not much whatsoever. No in and out blade play whatsoever. So I know that's pretty impressive. I know Microtech just came out with their zero blade play knives, and it seems like it took them a whole entire forever to be able to figure that out. But still, pretty cool nonetheless. Let's go ahead and get a weight on the big one. Of course, this was the Chimera, CHIMERA, $170 for this one. And we are coming in at 3.2 ounces, so that's very good for your ounce per inch, and a lot of people like to see. Great knife overall. Big fan of that one. I think if I do get an OTF on the channel, I'm probably going to be looking at something like this, maybe. Not too sure on that. I know I'm really sticking towards the USA side of things, but this is definitely a pretty appealing way to get into the OTF market, let alone, you know, not like your Lightning OTFs or whatever those crazy, really cheap $20 ones are. This is not what that is. These are in that mid-range, I would say. Definitely a very good, appealing way to get into the OTF market, that is for sure. So this little guy here, this is a cute little knife, that is to say the least. This is the Tack Knifes Benji, and look at that blade. That is a tiny little Wharncliffe blade on that thing. Really do like to see it. We got the speed holes in there, kind of gives you some Microtech vibes, that is for sure. I like it. It's got this really cool carbon fiber onlay on this thing. Of course, this is running the same kind of chassis that this one is. It's a aluminum hard-coated. We do have a nice, you know, satin pocket clip deep carry to match the, this is actually a stonewash blade, though. This thing comes down to a super, super fine point. And talking about a slicer, this is definitely going to be more of a slicer than the original bigger brother, the Chimera. This is coming in at 76 thousandths of blade stock, which is very, very thin. How about behind the edge thickness? We're looking at, what can we get down to? 20 thousandths behind the edge. So it's definitely way thinner overall blade thickness, but it's around the same on the behind the edge thickness. But it does taper down to a very acute tip down at the end, though. This is going to be a really sweet little box cutter. Great little easy to carry knife. And I can see why this is Steven's wife's knife choice to carry, that is for sure. This would be something really easy to put in the pocket. You'd almost forget that it's even there. This would be really good to put in your purse too at the same time, and be a nice little good self-defense thing for really any woman out there, or man, that is for sure. You don't have to worry about a thumb stud to flick out, finger hole to deploy, anything like that. This is just a, you know, flip of a switch, and this thing's ready to go. So we are looking at a little more than 5.5, almost 5 3/4. I'm going to say probably 5.6. if you want to call it that, 5.6 inches. Blade length is coming in right at 2 inches, a little more than 2 inches, almost 2.25 inches of blade length. So definitely good to see. That might be kind of hairy on some kind of local knife laws. You just have to kind of, you know, take and choose what you got to do there. Look into it, that's for sure, if it's going to hold you back or not. Sharpened edge is going to give you right around 2 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to be pretty nice. We do not really have much of a sharpening choice on this one, though. The plunge grind comes all the way down into here, and I feel like there might be a little bit of a sharpening choice, but not too much. You're gonna get into that actual tang of the blade if you get too carried away on this one. These knives do look like they can be easily disassembled. I've never taken one of these apart, and I'm not like I was saying, I think this would be a pretty easy to take apart. I'm not sure what makes these things tick on the inside, but this is, like I said, Steven's wife's knife. I do not want to mess this thing up for her, and they definitely want me to expedite this back to her. So I really do appreciate it. Like I said, this is the Benji, and I did forget to say this is actually D2 blade steel, and they are running a pretty high hardness on this, well, speculatively high. I think it was 58 to 59 on their website, so it's definitely decent enough stuff for what you're getting. It's going to be really tough blade steel, that is for sure, and especially on something this thin, it is nice to have that additional toughness on such a small little blade at the same time. Of course, you're not going to be doing anything really crazy with this knife. It's just really going to shine, you know, opening packages, maybe some self-defense stuff in there. You could definitely get the tactical vibes from these knives too. And this one also does have a secondary lanyard, well, integrated lanyard attachment right there at the back spacer. So that's going to be nice to see. This would almost be a pretty cool little keychain knife too. Definitely something that you could just hang right into your car. Whatever you want to do with it. Still very nice. So, Steven, really do appreciate it. Dom, same to you, buddy. These are some really cool knives, and I really do appreciate the collection that you guys have sent me. This is more of their Blade Show Texas haul, and they gave me a whole bunch of goodies to give away to you guys. So these are the tack knives, the Chimera and the Benji, both in Warncliffs. Like I said, this one is $60. This one's coming at $170, so you're definitely getting a lot of bang for your buck on the budget OTF market that is actually high quality too at the same time. So I know there's a lot of cheap OTFs out there, but these are well priced and good quality for what you're getting. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave down in the description below. And I almost forgot to do size comparisons. So I know these are kind of two knives that you guys might not know too much about. Up against the TRM, holy nerd right there. That's a very good size comparison to that one. And then how about up against the Spyderco PM2 on the Chimera up there? So we're still a little bit smaller yet than the Paramilitary 2. And how about the Para 3? Definitely bigger than the Para 3. How about let's do the Spyderco Shaman? So we're really close to the Spyderco Shaman in overall length. Of course, the Shaman's going to dwarf it in every other dimension, but for the most part, overall length of the blade and actual sharpened edge is going to be very similar on that Shaman. So with that being said, you got some size comparisons on there. I really do appreciate it, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.